Mr. Williams.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can, buddy. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really good. Watching some football.
Oh, it's Thanksgiving, isn't it?
Yeah, American Thanksgiving.
What are you watching, and are they all playing right now?
There's only 2 games today, but my team's playing. My really shitty Cracker team.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate year for Dallas. Flipping heck.
Dude, your soccer chickens are doing so good this year.
The what, sorry?
The Tottenham soccer chickens.
The Tottenham Soccer Chickens. Thank you. We are top of the league currently. Thank you very much. I appreciate that in the Premiership. Yeah. The Tottenham Soccer Chickens. Oh, Jesus. Great. Early morning sass for me. Perfect. All right.
It's 1 o'clock here.
Yeah, fair enough. So, Pretty Girls, which comes out tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
How long ago was it that we lived together? 8 years ago?
Oh. I don't know, we're old now, dude.
Yeah, because what I've always loved about your creative mind is the darkness within it, the tones that you create. I like how it really brings you down into this eerie, sensual mood activation chamber, which is a sentence I've never said before.
You enjoy my darkness. That's a little bit.
I've never said that sentence until just now. So where do you want to start with the context behind what is your first? I mean, it's not your first foray into releasing music, but your first as DeLyzer.
Yeah, I mean, I had the And the Raven project with Wolf Sheep when... Well, yeah, that was 2013 maybe, and it's been so long, but just COVID hit, and it was time to do all the things I've always been wanting to do, like all those dark songs that I'd sit down in LA sessions, and no one would want to sing those. They're like, that's too heavy, man, or it's too weird. So I just wanted to do something for me. We went to Tulum, my wife and I actually produced it all there. I did some remote guitars with Dan Richardson, who toured with One Direction. So it was still pretty collaborative. Like, I worked with Lilianna writing track, but yeah, man, I'm really stoked for it to be my first thing for me out. Because it's just different when you put out music for yourself and when you're producing for other people. It's fun, and it's great to like boost other people up and contribute that way. But when it's your thing, it's a bit more. You get more nervous, it's more fun, and you get to play with the art. And my wife's a really good photographer, and she kind of brings me out of my shell because I don't like being in front of the camera, but she's been really good at that and taking some cool photos and graphic design and stuff that I don't normally get to do.
Yeah, that's fabulous. Before I dive into the love puddle, which is, it shows how much you're at ease with each other, because I've never seen you look so natural when photographed. It was usually sort of I have to do that as well, where you forced to smile for 20 seconds. But you can see,
and the blonde hair too. The blonde hair's growing out of my shell. I don't know why, but I like it.
Yeah, it burns into the retina for sure. The new bleach situation. I've done it too. I did it right earlier this year when I went bleach and then into that strange purple for a little bit. We're exploring in our mid-30s.
You went purple.
Yeah.
Did we both have midlife crises this year?
Just before the midlife age marker. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah. Mid-crisis, right?
Yeah. The preempt to the crisis.
Yeah.
The context for what was that, listeners, because I've known you for over 10 flipping years, but could you just paint a picture of, because I love that comparison between when you're in LA and people say, I don't know if I want to get too into those lyrics. Can you paint a picture of what you've been doing the last handful of years that led you to say that?
Yeah. LA, when I went there, it was all about the pop scene. I grew up doing rock records and hip-hop and folk and all this stuff, working at a Joey Baker's studio and Monster Records, and Christian Harper, our old landlord, he had a big studio there. It was all kind of gritty records. And then when I went to LA, it's all pop and, counting syllables and the studio, making sure everything's A-B, rhyming and making sure it's pretty and not too complex. So many times, that's why I work with people like Dan Richards, because when we do songs together, he's very pop oriented and I'm very left kind of brain. And he kind of brings me back into the world where people can still access it. And it's still very conventional, but just a lot of people didn't really like having lyrics where you had to really think about it, or, that wasn't cookie cutter or bubblegum, or it's just easier for me to kind of write more like this, which is just how I want to write about like multiple things in a song, much more open to interpretation, or, me.
Yeah. So in your experience,
wait, are we live right now? Are we live right now? Or
No, man. I just got out of bed. I just got out of bed. All right. So this is not live. This will be played in a few hours from now, and people might ask me in what was chat if I had just got out of bed. So I just thought I'd get ahead of that one. That's the wonderful thing about when you run your own radio station in your apartment that's 200 square foot is you roll out of bed and you climb under the desk next to it, and then you start talking to one of your best friends. So
yeah,
because in your experience, then, is it a case of all creatives try and come together, you try and make new friends, you put together a song, and then you try and get it serviced or signed? Is that what you're hinting at? Is that, I don't understand why, if no one's got anything to lose, why would they be cautious about doing something different?
Because when you're pitching songs like pop songs, it's got to be easily accessible. Like, people have to sing it by the first chorus. People kind of almost have to know what the chorus is. You know, it has to be so easily packaged when you like pitch to Shawn Mendes or when you pitch to Bieber. And that's the kind of stuff I've been doing the last 4 or 5 years. Or,
right.
You know, writing EDM top lines for JØRD in Brazil, who's killing it there, or ESH in Amsterdam. They don't want stuff that people can't sing to and be like, know exactly what it's about. If I gave Pretty Girls to an EDM DJ, they'd be like, I like it, but what's it mean? Like, can't you just make it more simple? Like, I want people to be able to sing this. Or
it's just fascinating because you hear of these 2 or 3 producers that are doing everything and the pattern, and then you hear of all the people that are trying to get into the pattern. And I know, I won't speak for you, but I love the fact that you've always stayed true to, well, this is my style, so if we can jive with it and work with it, I'm willing to compromise parts of it, but not completely succumb to insert what you'd like from me here. But it's so fascinating to hear that side of how people, because to me, Pretty Girls, it's a banger. Like, it's going to go into heavy rotation for me. I think maybe that's that Dan connection where he's pulled you a little bit more center, and that to me is what makes it so interesting. It's these 2 worlds colliding. I think the song's brilliant. I really, really like it. So it's fascinating to hear these, oh, well, we got to try and create bubble gum and blah, blah, blah. At some point, that system's got to change, hasn't it?
I've sold my soul in a few tracks, Shawn. Don't think I've conceded, you know? Like, I wrote a few songs that maybe 5 years, 10 years ago, the less mature part of me would have been like, yeah, I don't do that fucking shit. You know, writing a song called Love's Not Fading, or, you know, you would never have caught me writing that 10 years ago. But writing pop is hard, and I have respect for it now. It's not what I want to do for my stuff. And I think people, to touch on what you said, it's like people are scared to do something different. And myself included sometimes when I'm doing those pitches, because it's so hard in pop to do something different and still be accessible and conventional and make it where everyone can listen to it. And it's really hard to do that. So I think people gravitate to doing what Cheat Codes just did, or doing what Phineas just did, and they're copying people rather than doing their own thing. And I get that, because pop is so hard to be different but be the same at the same time.
Yeah, my old boss used to say to me, it felt like weekly, that you get to define your own success. You haven't got to worry about what the world's doing around you. If your success is that you've written Pretty Girls, and after all those years of doing otherwise, then that's it. It doesn't need to necessarily be that the millions upon millions have heard it. I mean, obviously, yes, you want to capture as many ears and hearts and an audience as possible, but it's fascinating, you know. And now we fall into this pandemic situation, and there's a lot of things that I don't like about it, but one of the things that I love about it is the fact that it put a boot up your ass to start creating stuff that you've had on the back burner that you've been flirting and sharing with me for years. I'll go back and just quickly sass you about the fact that obviously you didn't text me those pop songs that you don't quite like. Look, I didn't make these, but I did, and it paid rent. That's okay, though. That's okay. Not everything needs to be shared. What do you think now, then, with Pretty Girls? What kind of plan can you make in a pandemic to release a song? And what do you think you're going to do? I mean,
I've got
next?
Tons of material right now. There's going to be a song every 2 months. It wasn't just Pretty Girls I wrote. I've got a new track coming out called Drama Queen in the new year. And it's just going to keep rolling out. And I'm really excited about these tracks. And a lot of it is just me. Drama Queen, the next one coming out, is just me writing, producing, mixing, everything. And I don't do that a lot because, like we were touching on earlier, it's much better to have someone to bounce ideas off, and kind of, the song's always going to be better with more people on it. I think like 1% of all top hits had less than 2 writers on it. So,
just to interrupt you, pardon me, do you say writers in the sense of lyrical, or just in the creative process in general, everything?
Like when you go to the song credits, you're going to see the artist who wrote it and then who produced it.
Okay, just checking.
So if there's usually at least 2 writers on the track.
Just double checking. Thank you. Back to you.
Back to me. Oh, this is like back to you, Cotton.
Yeah, back to you, Brando.
So I have like another track after that now called Cruel Summer, which is with Richard Craker, and he's in Thailand right now doing like Thai pop records. So it's been super fun to do stuff remotely. He's co-producing that with me. We wrote that one in LA, but yeah, dude, it's all gonna be gritty. It's all gonna be my kind of lyrics, which are different. But you know, and the goal of this is not to really tour. I don't have any like aspirations to go on the road anymore. You know, being like on a bus for 9 hours in the Canadian winters, it's not for me anymore. But I do want to like get this music on some really cool movies, TV shows, and yeah, I mean, if live shows happen, it happens. But that's kind of the goal for this project.
So you are retiring the 5-hour energy drink shots.
That when I was with Celebrity Traffic. Once I got that heart murmur, it was time to stop.
Oh my God.
I watched that interview you did with us a while ago, and it's so funny.
It is, all I would say is unbelievable growth. We have grown up a lot, the pair of us. All of us, really. Yeah. And do you know what makes me laugh? Is the most professional person out of all of us is Joel. Yeah, he's got this incredible job where he's working for a company that define, it feels like they define the weather. They've got all this technology that is like, to me, trying to explain a lunar landing. It's how they figure out what weather patterns are doing with tornadoes and cycles and cyclones and big words and adjectives and verbs. And
Joel's a smart guy. We're all idiots at the same time too. And I guess he just was less of an idiot than the rest of us.
I never said that anyone was an idiot. I just felt that because he was the quietest of the three.
I did. I said that.
Okay, all right, okay.
At least in Celebrity Traffic. And after that was a fun band. Those guys.
That was a very fun band. I actually, because I'm in between gradually moving across to my partners, I'm going through everything, and I found the T-shirt and the CD. I've still got them perfect.
Oh, with their heads cut off?
Yeah, the heads cut off, Zombie One.
Yeah.
Those were the days.
I got to do some merch for this project.
But what was I going to ask? After I was going to sass you about the 5-hour, and then I was going to say, and it was the last thing. Oh, yeah, the last thing is, so it's been difficult that whole networking quote unquote situation, but you've got some incredible friends that you've made since you've been down in LA and going all over the world before the pandemic. So do you have a support system of release? Have you got the ability to get this on certain playlists or on the laps of people for certain soundtracks or that situation?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of surreal actually, you know, when you look back on all the stuff we've done now and doing live sound for the Chili Peppers and Luna George and Sia, and then now like all the people I've met there in LA, and I look at it, I'm like, I'm just super lucky to have those connections. You know, Lilianna is killing it. I mean, she's my first feature on this track, and her voice matched perfectly with mine.
Yeah.
I produced a few of her tracks, and I was like, as soon as I wrote this track, I'm like, oh, I have to have Lilianna on it. And you know, like for her and I, we're kind of the same in the sense where I don't think either of us, and she won't be mad at me for saying this, are like top-notch singers. You know, we're not Ariana Grande or Michael Bublé, but I think we both have this cool vibe, and it matches really well. And she does it so well. And I mean, her one track, Grind Me Down, has 15 million plays on Spotify. She's got a big TikTok following, big Instagram following, and she kind of helped set me up with this company called Repost for distribution. But yeah, like, I mean, all the producers and writers on this track the accolades are insane. Like Dan being in One Direction and being a music director for Anna Clendenning and a few other people. And then Richard, I mean, he's working out of Republic Records in LA, and I think like a pop hero in Thailand right now. But yeah, I have a lot of people to kind of help me out, and I've applied for Factor and all that sort of stuff. But it just feels like I have a lot more of a support system than I did last time. And that's cool because I feel like something's actually going to happen with this sort of stuff. It might not be of epic proportions, but I think it'll be fun. It'll be worthwhile.
Yeah, it's so bonkers to look back at. And I think all the hardships and, I don't know if you heard that burp, I just downed a cup of tea whilst you were talking, but all the hardships and the growth leading to this point, I feel now you are the most grounded you've ever been. You're certainly head over heels in love and recently married, which is a help. And I can see in the photos, without having had the chance to mingle with the three of you, the three of us mingle together, the two of you, she's unlocking this.
Hey, don't give me ideas. It's my wife.
I can assure you, after living with you for a few years, I'm not coming anywhere near your bedroom. Thank you very much. That's why I moved out. No, can you keep it down? Jesus. No. I think everything's fingers crossed, basically. It's so hard to navigate what other energies are going to do and how they're going to help you, whether they're best friends or connections, whatever it might be. But you've always got my support, and hopefully they're going to support you in the same way. But it's just fascinating and really exciting.
Yeah, it's cool. We're both doing our own thing right now. You know, like I love how you're doing. What was that? Like I've always thought that you were too big for your shoes that you're in, and it's just cool that you get to do whatever the fuck you want now. And now I get to do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah,
so we're both doing whatever the fuck we want. And it's great to have those people that are so close to you doing that. And like you said, getting married, how I look more natural. It's getting married was the best thing I've ever done for my music career. And I mean, I didn't get married for my music career, but that just chilled me out. You know, like I feel like on the level, and I'm not like worried about all these other things. And she's such a calming presence, because musicians are crazy, and I'll be the first to admit that I can be crazy. And just being with her, it's the best thing ever. So I can focus more and I can be myself more, which is great.
Yeah, no, it's just fabulous. And just to add another little bit, extra bit of sass sprinkle on there, I love the fact that a 20-minute interview will be followed by a 3-minute long song, because that's how What Was That rolls. 20 minutes.
No, you're not going to play this whole 20 minutes.
That's what I do, dude. I do a conversation with, and then we check out the song, whether it's a song, an EP, or a record. That's how it goes.
No one's going to care about this for 20 minutes. Come on.
You don't know the community we've got over here. You don't know our community yet. You got to jump in and try it out.
No,
we'll be talking in What Was Chat about
Victoria.
It. Yeah.
Are all your listeners out of Victoria, or where are they from? Tell me.
I've got listeners in Austria, Holland, India, Hong Kong, Mexico, America,
oh my God,
England, France, and Germany listening as we're recording this.
You're a global sensation, baby.
One step at a time.
Well, to all those people, keep listening to John, because he's got some cool things to say. He has a book of our quotes when we lived together. You should read them out.
Yeah. I think if I ever read that book of quotes out, it would end any career that I got started. I read some to Jodie on the phone a few months ago, my partner, and I was like, Jesus Christ. We wrote some things in this book when we weren't thinking.
I feel like we could turn them into like a cool little comic book or something. We got to do something with them.
I'm actually working with an animator to animate some of my interviews, so we could do that.
That's so cool. I can't wait to see that.
Right. Well, I think
One cheeky thing for you, I want to ask you.
Yeah.
How often do you not wear pants when you're on the radio now that you're in your own home?
To be honest with you, I've got this favourite pair of sweatpants that my mum got me for Christmas when I was back in England, and I think just the missing them a lot. I've worn the same like purple maroon sweatpants every day in this corner doing the show.
Because people can't see you down there, can they? So you could be totally naked if you wanted.
I could be. I mean, I do have a live stream that starts in a few weeks, so maybe if there was an opportunity to do that, I should do that now just to get it out of the way so there's no mistakes.
Only fans for John Williams.
Yeah. Join my OnlyFans if you want to see at least my left butt cheek. Yeah.
Oh, God. I'll fund that. I'll join that.
Great.
Beautiful, man. Love you, dude.
All right. Love you a lot. And I'll speak to you shortly via the old texts.
All right. Bye.
Bye.